Hello, and thank you for joining us in our podcast called The Growth Journey. This is the place where you will start your personal growth and development. I'm glad you're here. I am your host, Cheryl Hart. So, a few days ago, I was preparing for the upcoming virtual workshop, and this is something that I have been wanting or thinking about doing and to try because I haven't done it before. I providing a free workshop online. So it's about the workshop is about your dream test. So I thought it will be creating this workshop and to share to my audience, especially in my Facebook page, which is growing quite a bit now. And as our audience is growing in Facebook page, so I thought maybe I should do some workshop for our audience. So that I have something value that I could add for them, rather than the usual, Facebook Live teaching or posting some quotes and all that. So I thought it would be good to change it a little bit and provide a workshop to our Facebook page. So that's what I've been doing. I've been creating that, and it's actually quite fun. So I'm learning something new and expanding my skill set, how I could using the platform that I have and provide more value to our audience and our followers. So, not only for podcasting, of course, this is my main one, podcast, the Growth Journey Share Heart. This is my beginning. It's amazing how, a little over a year now, that how we come about. And this is something that, you know, something that I would like to do, just to try it on. I thought I will be done just 7 episodes of this podcast. So you know what? I probably run out of the content that I will add value to you guys. I thought seven. I'm just gonna try it for 7 episodes, and I'll be done with it. But who knows, right? I mean, now we are in episode 57, and it's been a little over a year now. So I was kind of quite happy about that, really happy about that we keep going. And actually, I have more content to share with you. I think we're pretty good for the rest, for forever, because there's so much things to learn, so much things to share and to add value to you. So I'm truly glad that I did what I did last year and just started off from the humble beginning, that I don't know where to start either, but I start anyway. So now we're expanding so much. So now from the podcast, now we have a Facebook page where I do, live, Facebook Live, where I teach there too. And then expanded to membership programs. So to those of you who would like to, because right now, currently I don't do, not yet though, but currently I do not have any offering for one-on-one coaching, but it will come, it will come in the near future. So stay tuned with that. But the membership program is helping tremendously our our members in that platform. So we're continuing learning, and then we're gonna add more content there too, teaching lessons. So I'm pretty excited about that. And actually, the Your Dream Test is one of those programs that we are launching. So yeah, it's amazing how we are progressing. So, but anyway, so for this episode, I thought, as I go through this workshop that I've been building for quite some time now, and actually I'm thinking about it quite some time, but I just go ahead and run with it, right? And I was trying to do, to figure things out. Sometimes, when you look back, in your career and what you got going on to your job, to your business, and trying to figure things out, the right path for you. Or maybe something that you are doing right now, but you're still debating if this is the right path for you, right? And trying to figure things out. When we are in our 20s, sometimes it's not easy to do. And more than likely, we trying to pick the wrong thing because we don't know, right? The year of when you are in your 20s, kind of trial and error. That's how I view it when I was, not too long ago. I was trying to figure things out, or who I am, and what is the proper, or not proper, but what is the right career for me, and I was trying to figure things out. So I'm trying to work different jobs, and good things, just a handful of it, but I right away I do know what I wanted. So that's a good part, because other in their 20s, they still trying to figure things out, until this day, when they are 30s, or maybe even mid 30s, and then now approaching 40s, still trying to figure things out, what you want to do, or who you want to be when you grow up. So it feels like you never grow up, when you are in that stage in your season of your life. So it is truly fascinating to see that. There's also some people who are already established their career, and they've been in it for a long while, for the long haul, and they made a lot of mistakes too, and have learned so much from it. And although they made mistakes, and through that mistakes and struggles, they become successful. They use that as a tool and inspiration or motivation to keep going, and as a result, they stayed on it, and they become successful. And some of them, they don't, they stay the same. They stay neutral. And we're probably looking at some people who are in 30 or 40 years old, maybe who have turned 40s, have decided to switch their career, and I have seen a lot of that. Actually, when I was 20s, my early 20s, my friends are older than me, okay? They are like 20 years older than me. It's almost my mom. It's almost my dad or grandpa. And they were telling me this, that I've seen that some of them, they're either they are approaching the retirement, or they are switching a career, from working in a corporate world to now they decided to go to real estate and become a real estate broker or investor. So think about it, if you're listening right now, you are in your 20s or 30s. There are times in your life that they thought that what you have or what you studied on, you got a degree on, and then now eventually you feel like, what, I don't think this is me. I don't think this is the right fit for me. So when you get to the point, if you don't, good for you. If you knew right away what you wanted, you want to be a doctor right away. You took all the curriculum, you get the degree, the certificate and all that, and then now you're working on it, 20s and 30s and 40s, and then now you still feel the same. You are one of the fortunate one. But to those who are, when they get to the point when they're 30s and 40s, like, man, I'm still in it, and I don't feel like doing it anymore. So don't be surprised if you see some of your friends, or even you, that thinking about, what, I'm in 30s now, or 40s, and even 50s, but I know I still have a lot to offer. I still have a lot of skills within me. So I'll probably do some entrepreneurship, or do some business on the side, or, coaching on the side while I still work, so you have this side hustle, right? So those are the things that, quite interesting. I have noticed that more and more people now, that I know of, that where I'm surrounded with, that they are just not working in one job. They actually have 2 jobs or 3 jobs. Sometimes they have their own business, but they still work in a corporate world, to get that regular paycheck. But at the same time, they are building something on the side, which is I've been doing, and myself. So it's probably I was surrounded by that, and I'm surrounded with people who are working in a corporate world, and at the same time, we are also at the weekends or at night, sometimes early morning. Right now, as of this recording, I am recording this at 3 a.m. Okay, so I'm trying to be quiet a little bit, so. Yeah, it is. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the time, in order for you to do that. So, if you were in that stage right now, that you feel like, what, I've done it. I've done this before. I mean, I am now in a position that, what, I want to try something different. my interest is not the same anymore when I was in 20s or 30s or 40s. I am now in my 50s, and 60s. Maybe I should try differently. So don't be surprised if you get to that point in your life when you are in that stage that, you know what, you have this mind, thinking about it, that you probably need some change. So take a look at that, and this is what we're going to talk about today. Okay. And looking back also, it is hard sometimes to figure out when you are in 20s. It does hard. Majority of younger kids. I'm in my 30s, so I can talk to younger kids that it is hard to determine what you wanted to do when you were 20s, even though if you have that certificate or diploma or degree that you have. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you have this mind that maybe I should do the other way. And then when you are in 30s, that's what you're trying to figure out. Okay, you know what? I have established this. Now what? Right? And to those like, you know what? It's life. This is what I got. Who cares? I'm just going to stay where I am right now. Who cares, right? I'm content. I'm comfortable. I'm just going to stay whatever I am and not pushing it through, not to work so hard on myself, right? And I've read this a great actually it's pretty good valuable information to you, so I thought I'd shared. Katherine Be Alice is a public relations professor and vice president for college relations at Macomb Community College, and she said that we spent most of our 20s discovering all of the hundreds of things we can be. But as we mature into our 30s, we begin to discover all of the things we will never be. And the challenge for us, we reach our 40s and beyond is to put it all together, to know our capabilities and recognize our limitations and become the best we can be. So when you're 20s, you're trying to figure things, a million things, trying to figure things out in your own. And then when you mature in your 30s, you discover that all the things that, we never will be. You know your strength and your weaknesses when you were in 30s, but then you were in your 40s, you challenge yourself to reach beyond that, and trying to put all together between what you have learned in your 20s and then taking it all out, and then when you are in 30s, what your strengths are and weaknesses are, and then now you're in 40s, you're trying to figure things out, putting everything in the puzzles. Okay. And this is what I mentioned earlier, that a lot when you're 40s or 50s and beyond, this is the time that you kind of like, okay, I know this, I know that, this is what I'm not good at, so now I put it together, make it my masterpiece, and this is voila, this is what I'm gonna do next, so this is what they're aiming to do next. So, and I think that these are all valuable to know, and I think there's some truth of it. However, I do believe that we are not limited by our seasons of life. Okay? And I have seen many people who are past 50s who are actually growing and accomplishing so much in their life that they have never had before. And there are those who are in their 60s or 70s and still living their life and achieving those dreams and creating their mark in this world. Okay? And there are some caps, okay? There's no doubt about it. There are some caps that limiting us. And those we cannot remove. And there are something that we can remove and something that we cannot and we can remove and focus on those things, okay? So this is our topic today. What are those limitations that we can remove and some of the limitations that we cannot remove? Okay, so what are the examples of the things that we cannot? I mean, no matter what you do, you cannot remove them. Those limitations that you cannot remove. Okay, so one example is the place of your birth, right? because you don't know where you will be born and you do not have a control of that. If you're a baby, if your mom, gonna give you a birth, it's time to go now. It is the time, and you do not have any choice. You gotta go, right? So those are the things that you cannot change. Your birthplace is gonna be in your certificate, right? And also the birth of the year. You don't know where your mom and dad gonna conceive you. You don't know what year is that. You cannot pick the year that you want. And those are something that you cannot control. And also your birth family. You cannot pick and choose your family. You cannot be, oh, I would rather be born in a rich family, or I would rather be born in a poor family, or somewhere in the middle. You cannot really choose that. It is who they are. It is your family. You just have to love them and accept them, and hoping you do that, right? Accept it. That's your family, your birth family, who they are. And lastly, your birth characteristics. What I mean by that is your race. It doesn't matter if you're Black, African American, if you're Latina, Latino, or you are Asian, or you are white, Caucasian, European, Aussies, from New Zealand. You cannot change your race. Even myself, I'm Filipina. I was born and raised in Philippines, and I have a brown skin, and my genetics, my DNA is not gonna change. It is who I am. Okay? I cannot even change, even if I tried to, my accent. So if you're gonna, because English is my second language, and I won't be able to change that. It is the reality. Although I've learned how to speak English, so I have now 2 languages. I speak Tagalog, which is the native Filipino language, and now I speak English, and I'm glad you can understand what I'm talking about, even if I have an accent, a Filipino accent. So those are the things that you cannot change. Okay? So I just learned to just love yourself. I love myself and accepted who I am since I was born like this. And I'm not perfect. I have something that hopefully changed, but it doesn't, I didn't see it that way. So I just love who I am. So I hope you do too. Okay. So what are things that you this is the can remove? Okay, so motivational speaker Nick Vujicic, I can't even pronounce that. Nick Vujicic have said, the biggest temptation, I believe, is to feel comfortable, to feel like you've worked through all of that here on earth and are satisfied with this life. So I believe that's the problem for too many people who aren't successful, who are not successful or productive and unfulfilled in their life as they would like to be. They mistakenly think they've worked through their issues and they've reached their capacity, and there are no mountains to climb anymore, and they settled and they get comfortable. So those are the things that you can think about when you think about limits. Okay, it is one of those examples when you start settling in your current situation, your current life, that you think that there's no more mountain to climb. I finished, let's say you said to yourself, well, I finished my college and I got a job, I'm done. And you're still young, you're still probably in your 20s and then 30s and 40s and 50s and beyond. We become comfortable to where we are. And the truth is, we have not yet reached out our capacity. No matter how old we are, what age we are, we have not reached our capacity. This is why no matter how old you are, even if you are in your 60s and beyond, you still have mountains to climb, and you still have something to offer, and you still have a dream that you can reach. Okay? And to those of us who are younger, We should not waste our time being comfortable and use this time to learn and to grow more so we can reach the highest mountain that we can climb for. And because there's no limits and to what we can accomplish, there is no limit, because if there is, we created them. Okay? So what are the limits that we can remove? This is the can now, right? We can remove. So there are two major things that limitations that we can remove. So the first one is the limits that others put on you. Okay? And the second one is the limits that you put in yourself. So what are the examples of limitations that others put on us or put on you? So for example, people who tells you that you are not good enough. Okay? When people tells you you're not good enough, sure, perhaps you probably made mistakes, or perhaps you could do more practice, but eventually you will get better. Because mistakes are important so you can learn. You need those mistakes so you can learn. You cannot learn something if you don't make mistakes. And mistakes are necessary for growth. So all you have to do is to embrace them. Accept the fact, accept it that it is what it is, that we make mistakes. But when you reflect on it, those mistakes, and evaluate those mistakes, and then you can correct them later on. And then you can improve that way. What is not okay if others already made up their mind that you are not good enough. But I tell you what, it doesn't matter what people think. What you think about who you are is much more important than what others think of you. Isn't it true that you can be successful if others don't believe in you? But you cannot be successful if you don't believe in yourself. So let me repeat that again, okay? And feel free to write it down and put in a piece of paper that where you can see it. You can put it in your notebook or in your computer so you can see it, okay? Again, let me repeat this again. You can be successful if others don't believe in you, but you cannot be successful if you don't believe in yourself. Okay? So what matters is you believe in yourself. And when you do that, you will reach your full capacity and you will reach your full potential. So the second one is you can remove the limitation that you put out in yourself. Isn't it true that we are the worst critic about ourselves? We tell ourselves hurtful words, and believing that it is true, that we are, let's say, dumb or stupid, or we are not smart enough, and we are not tall enough, or we are not pretty enough, or handsome enough, and we are not good enough at everything or anything. All this because, just a nonsense words that we tell ourselves. And if you are doing this right now to yourself, I advise you that you need to change those words. Why? Because you are good enough, because you are smart enough, because you are intelligent enough, and you are beautiful inside and out. People love who you are. Yes, you make mistakes. You and I do make mistakes. That's normal. That's being human. Yes, sometimes you and I, act like a dumb or stupid person. And so what? Because everybody does. Everybody does act dumb and stupid, enough, right? You know what I do? If, I figure like, oh, that's stupid. Why did I make that decision? Just take it lightly. Don't make it, don't make it too serious and too hard on yourself. And sometimes when I acted that way, I acted dumb and stupid, and I know it is. I just laugh at myself. And you know what? I created a comic story about that and just laugh at it and share it to my friends, to my family. And like, I done this dumb things, but you know what? I just keep going and pretend that nobody see me doing that stupid stuff. Okay? So Don't take yourself seriously, because it helps when you don't, and it lights up your life. It lights up who you are. And actually, you is aside from being you learn something for those things, you also create something humor about it. And that's important, that we don't take our life so seriously. Have you heard about the 18-40-60 rule? Okay, so the 18-40-60 rule, it says when you're 18, you worry about what everybody is thinking about you. Isn't it right? If you recall, when you were in high school, especially high school, that's how I feel when I was in high school. That when you walk in to the campus, and then you're just walking like in a big field in there, and then just walking by yourself, you think that everybody's thinking of, looking at you, but in reality, no one really looking at you. But you kind of insecure that that's what you thought. Your mind is going that way, but in reality, nobody does. So when you're 18, you worry about what everybody's thinking of you, about you. Okay. Now, when you're 40, you don't give a darn what anybody thinks of you. I think for me, when I hit my 30s, my early 30s, I was like, you know what? Who cares? I do it. I don't really care what anybody think of me, because I do it my way, and I have confidence enough for myself that I can do it. And if I make mistake, good. Then I can learn. So that's my motto when I was just turned 30, and then and then those things happen. Okay? And then the last one is when you're 60, you realize that nobody has been thinking about you at all. Think about that. Think about that. When you're 60, you realize that nobody has been thinking about you at all. And it sucks, isn't it? It sucks that, why? Why no one's thinking about me, But that's a reality. That's a reality. So that's the truth. When we are in our seasons of life, this is what we're going through in our stages. So so my message is here is, why are we so worried about other people, what they think about us? Why do we worry about that? Why their opinion matters? Why? Because I don't think it matters at all, because the last time I checked, they don't pay your bills. They don't pay my bills. If they pay your bills, then good for you. Maybe that's the way to go. But again, you're gonna put a cap on that, and you're gonna keep that limitation, what they put on you. Okay? So keep this in mind when you have these limitations, experiencing this limitation going to your mind. Okay? And you have the capacity or capability to remove all of this limitation that people put on you, and limitation that you put into yourself. So you have that control, you have that capability to do so. Then the question is, can you do it? So the question is, can you do it? Okay, can you do it? Can you take out this limitation that you put in yourself and people put on you? Okay? So when you do just that, you will be on your way to reach your unlimited capacity and your potential. And you just never know how many mountains out there waiting for you to climb, and to climb them and reach the peak of your full potential. Good. I hope these lessons add value to you, and I hope this will give you something to think about your limitations, what you can and cannot remove. And to those that you can remove, you have a control of that. You truly do. And because you have a control of it, you can make a decision whether you will accept it you will leave it there or you will make a change so that you can keep going and reach your potential. So with that, always remember, if you don't invest in your own personal growth, no one will. Take care and be well.